distinct from anybody else's sweet potato. It is a premium, and likewise with the fruit. So, and then there are other islands that have other things. I mean, it's just like Grenada is a spice island. You would go there for your spices.
Absolutely.
Jamaica, pimento, but all the other spices, you have to get a bit chauvinistic about it. But I suppose, from your point of view, and given your role as a brand manager, how does this link into growing the business in the UK? And secondly, to go back to my original point about the disparity, I know that Tropical Sun supports a number of charities around the world for different communities in the UK and around the world. Is there anything that Tropical Sun is going to do for UK communities?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, certainly I'd say the majority of the community work we've done has probably been in Jamaica, especially particularly around the factory, because I guess it's almost like supporting your own family first before you expand outwards, because we have so many staff from the local area in Central Village. We want to make sure that they're happy, that we have in some cases more than one generation of a family who has worked at the factory as well. It's a very small village. So yeah, we do have projects in the UK as well. I think I mentioned before we work with the Sickle Cell UK, and that's quite a recently formed partnership. Before that, we were working with the ACLT as well.
Oh, can I stop you there? What is ALTC?
ACLT, that's the leukemia.
Okay,
African Caribbean Leukemia
okay,
Trust.
fine,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that, so.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, no, good point.
No, that's fine.
I should have pointed that out. Yeah, and we've been involved in a number of other initiatives. I'm not necessarily familiar with every single one of them, but I do know, for example, that recently we've been working with quite a lot of churches, particularly, again, African and Caribbean churches, as a way of responding in part, to this conversation and using it as a way of, improving community relations, kind of taking responsibility for maybe the fact that the company has been very product focused and maybe not done enough to, whilst it has done a lot of community work, hasn't done enough to communicate with people. And at the end of the day, how can you expect people, you can't expect people to intuitively just know everything you've been doing. So that's something we're trying to correct. It's clearly important to people.
Okay, so when you say the church, what do you do? I mean, what does the company do?
Yeah, so
within from the prospect of you or your company, what do they do for the church?
Well, it depends with which church. I know that, so there was broadly an initiative recently where we were, giving products to churches for when they were having like church events, community events and stuff. I think aside from that, we've also been doing stuff like sponsoring. There was a ladies kind of cooking community thing going on, so we sponsored that. We essentially, we're at kind of the early stages of this, where we're building relationships with the church communities, maybe even I'd say more so than the churches themselves, the people who run these communities, and are kind of just trying to listen, and so we're responding to their needs, not rather than necessarily pushing a specific agenda of the way in which to help.
Not attacking you, but that's a smart way of really doing it, because if you give one thing an Aki, there could be 400 people within that church, and if they see the brand, just the brand alone and the brand awareness there, it's a smart way of dealing with it.
It's certainly is. It's good. We like to give stuff away, I guess, in some part, knowing that you can build brand loyalty.
Give away or donate.
What would be the distinction?
I would say donate.
Okay.
Instead of give away.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
To donate, and again, with no expectations of anything coming back.
No, but it wouldn't come back that way. but the brand awareness which you are projecting, you will definitely get it back in a form of people saying, you know what, this is what was at my church, and then the word spread even bigger. So yes, it's a smart tactic. I would use it.
Yeah, and it's not limited to churches. We've been doing that in mosques as well.
No,
For Ramadan and stuff, and you know, this is we're living in interesting times, right? We can feel quite divided in the UK, and probably more so even in places like America. And so this is kind of our way of just trying to establish relations with different aspects of the community.
Okay, so I'm going to put a question in there for: Are you donating anything to homeless charity?
Yeah, I'm not aware of the project. It was very recent. I was away for a few weeks recently. I know while I was away, there's been an initiative with a church to feed a homeless community somewhere, but I couldn't say much more about it. I know it's on the website.
I was reading that just earlier.
It's not been fully updated, that section of the site, so sorry I don't have that for information.
Okay. But no, it's okay. What about women refugees? Refuge, sorry, not refugees, refuge.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any direct work with any female refugees. As I said, I know that there was one organisation that we worked with, kind of indirectly through one of the churches that was, at the very least, it was like disadvantaged women. I'm not sure if it was for refugees as such.
Okay. Christopher?
Well,
Once you get your thought, let me ask a question. How does one get to your base to say, you know what, this is a charity which I'm running, how do I then apply?
Yeah. The best way I would say would be to go on the website and use the contact form on the website. It's on the main page or in the contact section. I would start it that way, and I would, I guess, follow that up by saying that generally try to keep emails fairly short. We get a lot of different emails and many like legitimately worthy causes due to the size of our team and obviously budget restrictions and stuff. We can't get to every single one. It's just not possible. But the best chance anyone will have of getting Tropical Sun support is obviously it being a worthy cause, us being approached via the kind of the appropriate channels with the right information all laid out nice and easy. We don't need to see every detail of the business, just what is the most relevant, and we try to get back to everyone, and do come to us.
Okay. Is it favorably to the charity that the closer they are to your organization, as in to your factory, is it easier for that, so that they can they will get the support which they need?
I think we're generally looking at worthy causes, and then the second consideration would be where we can actually make some kind of difference. So with Sickle Cell UK, one of the reasons we felt it was a good partnership was because we found out that the type of products that they need, this is they being sufferers of sickle cell, are things like coconut oil, because they can use it for the drying out of their skin and stuff like that, like low sugar foods and stuff like that. So these were very direct ways that, as well as donating money, we could donate products, and that's kind of a better fit, I guess, if putting a slightly cynical hat on for the business. We do like there to be a tie-in with the products we offer and stuff like that.
Right. So the question which I asked you, probably I should have asked you in a different way. Would you prefer to support a local charity instead of something in Manchester, in Birmingham?
No, Manchester and Birmingham are also.
No, I just figure of speech.
Oh, okay. I mean, if it's completely disconnected, you're probably right. It would probably stand, like if it was in a country, say, that we don't really have any dealings with, I wouldn't necessarily know. Let's say Norway.
No,
as far as I know.
As in local.
Geographically UK.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
You say like London rather than.
Yeah,
we're
London,
all over the UK. Tropical Sun is all over the UK.
Okay.
We consider, know, the UK to be one large family, and we want to support, even if it's out of Scotland, it's fine.
Hebrides.
Hebrides,
Okay.
beautiful place.
All right. Okay. Christopher, have you?
Well, as you were saying, a lot of my thoughts are just rolling. So as the conversation unfolds, I adjust what to ask. And in terms of the company going forward, how do you see? Because obviously we're talking about how the public perceive tropical and vice versa. Are there any specific involvements that they're looking at in terms of like younger people, like schools and things like such, you know, or healthy eating? Is there anything that you're looking at possibly doing to engage a younger target audience?
Yeah, there's been talk, although we haven't necessarily pushed the button yet, of becoming more involved in youth martial arts as a way of kind of supporting, again, particularly maybe disadvantaged kids, and we feel that that would tie in again to certain products very well, and it's something we've been looking at. So with our, you know, coconut water or our, you know, different beans and pulses and stuff like that, these are all foods that are good for athletes, and so we've certainly looked at that, but again we haven't necessarily moved forward with that. We have recipes and stuff on our site for healthy eating and stuff, but this is all still in development very much.
But there is obviously the beginnings of a thought of that. Yeah,
absolutely. And we also are very careful, just kind of vaguely related, in we're trying to really advance our labelling systems and the information provided on products, so that people are very easily able to distinguish what is suitable to their dietary needs, because, you know, health is not a one-size-fits-all picture, clearly.
I actually think that sounds like a really good initiative. I think that from a consumer point of view, I have to say, I'm quite boring. I will read labels. I won't buy anything until I've read the labels. But I think a lot of the times there's a lack of key information. So obviously you've got simple things like low sugar and low salt, but if on your website you're saying, well, if you're an athlete and you need proteins, then you can have it. And so I suppose for like people with all these illnesses based on processed foods, it's if there's some, I'm not sure how you would do it, but I think if you can find a way to say, well, no, if you've got like diabetes or heart disease, this is a good food for you. This is.
There are difficulties with that. You have to be quite careful, obviously, what claims you can make.
Yeah, exactly.
What seems to be happening as well is there's, you know, for example, the best example I can give is the sugar debate. You know, the information we have is changing almost like day by day. You know, it was not so long ago that people thought that fats were really, really bad for you, and sugar was basically harmless, and now we find out that actually no, it's the other way round. And so we have to be very, very careful about how we advise people on health, and we just don't tend to do it. What we do is make sure we test our products properly. You know, we have them lab tested, so we know that the nutritional information is correct. We're trying to make sure that all of the nutritional information is available on the site, so it's very easy to access, and trying to just put forward useful information where we can, where the opportunity presents itself. Because a lot of these products, again, they're products that people aren't necessarily used to, and so you're not intuitively going to know if this is healthy for you or unhealthy. And food business is complex.
Yes, indeed.
Right, so let me put another question to you. Talking about food now, what about if people outside have a product? And they approach you, what do you do? What's the step forward? If it's a good product, but yet they can't bring it to market themselves, could they approach your company and you manufacture it?
Yeah, I mean, that has happened. I think at that point it goes over to new product development, and I think for the most part it gets, whether it's completely independent or not, it will ultimately it will still be a business decision based on the quality of the product, the price, what we believe we can legitimately sell it for, and what our shopkeepers can sell it for. And in that sense, it gets treated pretty much the same as if a factory in Thailand contacts us with, being able to produce coconut oil. Ultimately, it has to make sense as a business decision. But yeah, of course, if people have fantastic products and I guess they're able to mass produce them, that's the other thing. Like producing it the entire year round. We try not to do seasonal produce, which is actually a big way in which Tropical Sun helped advance things. Starting 22 years ago, is it made sure it was producing enough product to have stock all year round, so that people could keep that consistency if they wanted it.
So they could come to you with the idea, but they haven't got the money, but they've got the product, and then say, Tropical Sun, this is my product.
Absolutely.
I'd like you to manufacture it, and then obviously the proceeds going to be shared up.
Definitely, and they could also potentially go to Wani's as well, depending on what the product is. So Wani's is a distributor of many different products, and that might be the better fit for the most part, because Tropical Sun tends to source its own suppliers, but sometimes they come in, they approach us, and it does still happen that way. But Wani's will, if the brand is ready, if the product is ready, even if you've got a small supply, if Wani's thinks it can sell it, it will take it on.
Okay.
And
you don't have to be on Wani's or Tropical.
No, we like, what Wani's likes stocking at many different brands of, unique kind of heritage and appearance and stuff. If you go into Wani's, the first thing you'll notice is like all the crazy colours and different designs and just completely different concepts that people have come up with to package their foods and entice you into eating them. It's worked on me a lot of time. I've tried a lot more food since I've been there.
And you look as if you have put an inch.
I have, trust me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. It is 26 minutes to the hour of 8 o'clock. Destination is 8 o'clock. We have Evan Roberts from Nike Deluxe, and we have Chris from
Out of Many One
People. So it's a Jamaican matter, and then we have Sinna. I just can't remember Sinna.
That's okay.
It's okay.
It's happens every day.
Right. So what's happening now? We're not giving him a hard time. It's just to explain to us and the listeners as well, to see why there's such a animosity against the company. And I find nothing, me personally, I don't find nothing wrong with the company. I don't find nothing wrong with the food. If I get it, I'll eat it. Okay? Right, got me no cook. Right. Okay.
I suppose what I'd really like to ask now is how you see Tropical Sun growing in terms of its market. I'm assuming in order to expand, it's going to go away from the niche market of the people that created the demand and go more for mainstream.
Yeah, maybe to some degree. It's actually quite hard to get information about who is buying your product. So, because, as far as I understand it, let's say, if you sell through Tesco's, I'm not sure that you can buy the kind of aggregated sales information from Tesco's, but I don't think they break it down by like race or ethnicity and stuff. And so you actually don't really know ever like who is actually buying your products. And so we don't do any targeting as such to any specific communities. It's quite broad based, targeting based on more on food interests than
so you
anything
put it out
else.
there and they buy it.
Yeah, we make sure it's available. I think the reason Tropical Sun has done well is anyone who probably goes to anyone who shops at independents across the UK probably will have come across it. It's available on the shelves, and again, this is because the shopkeepers are actually able to turn a profit off of it. Unlike, let's say, if they're selling, let's say Coca-Cola or something, those are loss leaders. You could argue that these shopkeepers lose money selling Coca-Cola, whereas they make money selling Tropical Sun.
Okay.
So that's why it's done well.
So let me ask you something. You just drank some sorrel and ginger. Do you like the label?
Yeah, I mean, I love the drink especially. It's really nice.
Okay.
Edwards.
Yes.
You guys know these guys?
Oh yeah.
Very close to home, is it?
Okay.
It's a good product. It's a good product.
What's happening? It's really nice for you to come in and explain yourself, because a lot of company, they would have run away. They would have said, you know what, I'm not going there. The simple reason is I'm going to be cursed, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be vilified and everything else. So I like the approach. You approach and we take it on board and said, yes. You come forward and we just discuss the whole way, and as Yvonne was saying, that what's going to happen, because obviously, as far as I can see, the momentum of the company is moving so fast that it's something where you have to look at and get more brand, because then you're going to need more shelf space for the product which you're actually turning out.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I don't know all of the growth figures. I know that we have products that don't succeed very often. So Tropical Sun takes quite a lot of chances on very niche products. You know, we'll bring stuff out that there isn't really a market for, so you're waiting to create the market. So it's not that everything it does is a success by any means. There's a lot of loss built into the model itself. But yeah, I think generally things are you know, looking good for the company, and we very much slowed down the amount of new products as well. I mean, we have to better manage the products we do have, maybe rather than constantly bring out more products. This has been the kind of the guilty pleasure of our company directors over the years. Is they just love having a new thing with the Tropical Sun branding, and like, you know, oh, look, you know, it's honeycomb, you know, which is great. I love honeycomb.
How do you launch a new product, a new label?
No, I think what you might be referring to is that there was like some kind of, in one of the texts was that we had launched, I think it was about Jamaica Sun maybe, so we have
the Village
Village Pride?
Yes.
I believe I don't work under Village Pride. I believe Village Pride is a Wani's brand, or it's somehow connected to Wani's. But it wasn't launched. I think one of these circulating WhatsApp messages said that it had been launched in response to, you know, this recent discussion. But Village Pride has been around for years. Like, I'm not sure how many, maybe 5 or something, maybe more.
Yes, again, that's the first time I've ever seen it.
Right.
I did see it on the text,
right,
which was going around.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a new brand.
No, it's been around for a while. It might be doing better now than it was, or something. That's possible. But it's been around for a while.
So you see the problem which people have. They see something, they text it and say, look what's happening.
Can I address that?
Yes.
I think one of the issues we have is that unless you do the research, you wouldn't know that these companies are wholly owned subsidiaries of Wani's. So you're thinking, oh, that's another company. You're hoping that it's an African heritage company, and then because there's nothing. It's you know, Wani's in that regard makes you feel like it's a multinational. It's a multinational, but you know, like the multinational corporations, where you have a well-known brand, but all the money is actually going into one company. So it's like Procter & Gamble have got maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 different cleansing products, which will be on the shelf competing against each other. So you're like, you think you've allied yourself to this brand, but all the money is going to P&G along with your coffee. And I think that's one of the things that's happening, is that it's people distrust multinational corporations, and for good reason.
In many cases, yeah.
Exactly. But so, although it's a good business success, the fact that you have products, related products, different labels, different companies, different branding, but they're all owned by the same company.
Yeah, in some cases, I'm not sure about if the ownership, because sometimes they're partnering with other people as well, right? So it's not necessarily strictly Wani's has 5 brands that all sell the same thing. It might be that it's partnerships with different producers.
Yeah.
It's selling to different markets. These things often, again, they start organically and just kind of grow in their own direction depending on what happens with sales. And again, as I said, in most cases, probably the products start, you sell out your first batch and then discontinue, which is quite often what happens. But I agree fully with what you're saying and some of the sentiments behind it, that people have in many cases a healthy distrust of corporations trying to kind of impose a fake competition, a fake sense of competition.
And I think that's what you're probably getting. I mean, I don't know the stories around British pride, but I would suspect that is what's happening now. So it's just like
that's how it's been framed.
Yeah. But so first of all, you've got this thing that people felt, well, they didn't even know whether or not to believe that the tropical sun ackee was actually produced in Jamaica or manufactured and then shipped to the UK, because there was no way for us to know. And because people will put on the label they want to, I know you've got legislation, but people will do these things, so you don't know if it's just like it's picked in JA, shipped in a barrel, processed over here, and so you get the increased revenue and profit margin by processing in the UK and processing in the home market, because obviously that's an issue, again, a legacy.
Would it not be cheaper in almost all cases to process in Jamaica than in the UK?
Well, the thing is that what happens is that you buy the raw materials for little or nothing. So you've got the farmer, works all year, gets $100, right? You pack it, you ship it, you send it over here. The prices are higher, but the profit margins, because the more processing there is, the greater the profit on the product. So coffee is a very good instance. Coffee and tea, where it's grown in all over the world, India, Africa, or whatever, but processed in Europe.
Right.
And so what happens is that because they've got more ownership in the chain, they get more profit. So the raw material, first ingredient, they pay peanuts for. And then, but when we get a packet of tea, this packet, I'm thinking of loose leaf tea, but we would pay more for a packet of loose leaf tea than was paid for 100 weight of the raw tea.
Yeah, that's
and so that's the kind of thing that people. So I'm pleased to know that there is a factory in Jamaica that's employing local people, but obviously you aren't able to confirm the status and the arrangements with Jamaican farmers.
Well, there's just many different.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying that because you can't give us a specific instance of which product goes to the farms and which product is land owned by a tropical sun. And I think that should you have this conversation again, I think it would be really useful for you to be able to have that, because that would again allay people's fears and say, all right, you know what, I don't really like it, but compared to the way that other organisations and businesses have handled our people and our resources, yours is a better thing. So it would actually serve you well to kind of have that information.
No, it's good feedback. I mean, I think the vast majority is of suppliers with independent suppliers and producers. I think our ownership of lands or everything, I think is absolutely minimal. But it would be good to have more information on that. I know that in the case of ackee, as you described, the entire product there are photos of it actually on our blog. There's an article called, I think it's like Ackee, the National Fruit of Jamaica, I think the post is called. And it describes the entire process, and I guess, here's a little plug, but why we believe our ackee is the best. Part of the reason is actually why you mentioned is that most other brands that are selling ackee are producing it not in Jamaica, in other countries. We're actually, as far as I know, the only one that produces all of its ackee in Jamaica. And as far I'll tell you an interesting story, but I was making ackee and saltfish not too long ago, and I had one tin of tropical sun ackee at home. This is a genuine story. I asked my housemate to pick up on the way back another tin. He picked up another brand, and the first time I ever truly understood the significance of the difference was when I opened the other brand and had the two tins sat next to each other. And I was like,
One's for the
that's unbelievable. Yeah, one looked like completely just, it was almost off-white, it just looked wrong, and the other one was nice bright yellow, big chunks, you know, like smelt good, like, you know, when you opened it, and the other one almost smelt like rancid. And it was the first time I was actually quite proud a little bit, you know, I was like, oh, they've made the right choice here by not compromising, because we've had offers from other countries, countries that farm ackee, you know, that would have undercut our own production, you know, but we would never touch it with a body. Yeah, exactly, that's one of our main products, main three, certainly. So, yeah.
Yeah, I did have, but I didn't get it. I did have the opportunity to offer the opportunity to go to Jamaica to see, because I was in Jamaica,
Nice.
and the opportunity to go to the factory, to go and have a look by Jag, sorry, not Jay.
Jag, right.
Yeah. But I didn't wait for the letter because I was in a rush, and I thought, let me just run off. And but I'm very sorry that I didn't, because now having this conversation with you, I would be able to say, yes, I have been to the factory, and the listeners, yes, I have been to the factory, and this is what's happening. And
Next time.
and not only that, it's also nice that the charity, the around the village, the charity, which is the money which you're putting back in building the school around there, and the bits and pieces which is going on, it's really good, because there's not a lot of company would do this.
Definitely. I mean, that's one of the things that I've been most pleased about getting to the company is I have nice bosses. Like, they're good people. I honestly wouldn't want to work for bosses that weren't. You know, one of the things I like about them the most is I sit at a desk along with the other two members of the marketing and communications team, and our boss's doors are right next to us and completely open. They have no receptionist. You just walk in. When you have something to say, they'll be typing away or shouting on the phone, and in the case of Sanjay, and you know, you can just literally go and say, I found an issue, I'm going to fix it, and they're just like, okay, come on. You know, like, and I like that, it's direct, whereas in corporations, a lot of the time it's like a chain of command, you know, and it could take an eternity to fix something. Our biggest limitation is our staff numbers. Like, we are a really small team, and that makes it quite hard on the staff that are there. I'm not complaining, it means I've always got something to do, but it is difficult as well, getting everything done.
But you see, the way I've actually achieved it, which naturally your boss has done that, is to make sure that the staff, that they as management, they don't look down on you.
No.
They treat you as equal. So therefore, once they treat you as equal, you even go a further mile or 2 miles to make sure
that's exactly
everything's working.
They were very good to me as well. I had a situation, just, you know, a private family situation where I had to take a fairly sizable amount of time off. They didn't bat an eyelid, like, and after I came back, you know, they weren't complaining. It was a really bad time as well, work-wise for them. You know, it would have cost them money. They were totally fine with me taking whatever time I needed. And you're right, it's things like that that get you on side a lot. You know, like as an employee, you know, it's appreciated. Like, there are a lot of companies that will, you know, that will really penalise people even for a doctor's appointment.
You heard about the story about DPD driver.
That's what. That was what I was thinking about. That was unbelievable.
£160 fine, or something like that. £160 fine.
He
If
died.
you don't turn it.
Well, because he had to keep paying the company.
Yes.
It actually killed him because he didn't maintain his.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's. I don't know as much about that case, so I won't want to speak on it too much. But I'm very grateful to my bosses for the way they approach these kinds of things. They're very human.
Okay, it's 10 minutes to the hour of 8 o'clock. This is DJ Headley, and definitely in the studio we have Yvonne Roberts from Nike Deluxe, Chris from OOP,
OOM1P.com, out of many ones.
You know, I just can't remember anything, so don't worry about me. You're listening to Omega 104.1 across the capital, across the globe, and you can also catch us on www.omegafmradio.co.uk. Okay, so we only got 10 minutes left, so we are still pressing on, because every day, almost every day, you find people who don't do no research always come up and talking about brand. They've never, a lot of them have never tried to do anything for themselves, but yet sit down and criticize. And I find that awful. Okay?
I'm going to be
so come
here.
forward.
I'm going to be contentious here.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think that, you have a view, you have an understanding that things are unfair, and this is going to add weight to what you'll begin to hear. That when you're getting this information, you believe that it has been researched. It's true, people could go out and do more research, and there are groups where a post will come round, it's doing the rounds, and they'll just say, we've already dealt with this, we've told you what the truth of this, don't post it again. But for others, it's their first time of hearing it. So sometimes the stories go around 3 and 4. I've seen videos that I know that I saw 2 and 3 years ago that are coming back round again. So when it comes round, you can say if you wish, or others will just pass it on. I mean, there are people who share indiscriminately, and there are others who are more measured. I don't think we can assume that no one does research. I think that you have to understand that for them, it is another piece of information. And also, you have to say that within the context of global capitalism, this is what's happening. So that's why one is not going to look good, because we don't know the ethics behind the company. It's only because Sinna is here to tell us. But otherwise, on the shelf, you see this, and it's like it's got Jamaica all over it. So you've got our nation, right, as a brand, making money for other groups. People have a right to feel aggrieved. And if you don't know how to do or what to do, at least you can recognise that you feel aggrieved, and you can put a name to your pain. But as you say, later on, it would take more work from people like Sinna to go out there and just say, this is what you're hearing, this is the truth. Because unless Tropical Sun put it out there, they're going to get the hits. They're going to have to take the hits.
Not only that, because as for the Aki, I did hear personally that it was a bit mushy.
Yeah. But you know how the nature of people, we all have products. I've been in production for years of different things, and it's like they say, bad news travels quicker than good. And I think the issue that a lot of people have, and I will say this in a very succinct, straight way, instead of passing on information, people need to formulate their own opinions. Because a lot of people pass things on because they've heard someone say, it's like in the school playground, they're all, because they're in a group of people amongst friends, and it's this group of people saying it because someone else has said it. It doesn't take 5 seconds to just think, okay, that's fine, that's what the general consensus is, but let me look into it. I mean, it's like today I can honestly say, I've heard of all this going around about Tropical Sun and everything. I never actually looked into any of it. And then even today, before I came here, I didn't go look at the website. I thought, you know what, I'm going to come here today, and didn't even prepare any questions. Let me meet whoever's going to come along, and we have a dialogue. And I think that's half the battle in many levels, is everybody needs to start becoming an individual, or as my dad would say, be a man by your actions, or a woman by your actions. Everybody needs to start scrutinising what is right for them, because it's not a one-fit-all situation. And in everything in life, people need to say, okay, I hear that, but let me go and look into it.
Yeah, but you're right, because
and not online look into it as in let me investigate, because too many people are waiting for a bus looking on the phone, and the bus will go past.
Yeah. I do hear a lot of people say, I'm not buying that because I hear they haven't bought it to try it. I hear the cheese you can.
Yeah.
Well, that's true about the cheese. The processed cheese was designed to do that. It's not unique to their company.
Yeah. Right. So that you hearing and you hearing and you take it in, but nobody has never, as you say, researched.
Yeah. Well, let me back one more point in there. Like I keep saying, is you'll be around me a lot, and I keep saying, in order for someone to step on your foot, you need to leave your foot on the floor. It's very simple. people that have got gripes with things looking to trying to understand. You know.
I'm being devil's advocate here, and I'm saying there are lots of people learning to question.
Yes.
Because we come from a situation where people are just given information as a fact, and they're learning to discern.
Yes.
So the fact is that tropical fruit is going to be low-hanging fruit. Yeah, they're going to be easy to pick on.
Okay.
But the point is just like when you find out about the ownership of all the other companies, so you're thinking you want to get a choice, and then you find that none of them are African heritage owners. You don't know what the structure is. I mean, they could have a structure like Coca-Cola. Yeah, they employ a lot of black people, but none at management positions. Which is why I asked that question, because what they do is they go to the country and they have everybody on the production line on minimum wage, okay, but all managers are shipped in from overseas. So there's no training of the workforce, there's no development, there's no investment into that country. It's just pure extraction of resources and wealth. So what we're hearing from Tropical Sons is different. I know we've got to wrap up.
Right.
But one thing I will say is that generating out of this is that if they're talking about you, it's publicity.
It has had that effect.
Right. So what we're going to do now, we've got about 4 minutes left. The mic is yours.
Oh wow, dropping me like that.
Yes.
I mean, the main thing I would just like to say thanks. I think it's been a really good discussion. I think you guys are exactly right when you say the important thing is kind of fielding responses to any questions and showing kind of love, compassion and understanding for people who may well be frustrated for very legitimate reasons, not necessarily all connecting to us, but the broader conversation. There's clearly like progress to be had. We all should be responsible, both, you know, everyone who works for Tropical Sun as an individual, as a citizen of this country and a citizen of the world, down to, you know, if you're a director of a company, I think that you should have, you know, real corporate social responsibility. I don't think being a director should excuse some of the behaviours that, you know, many directors, I'd say not Tropical Sun's directors, but, you know, many bank directors and executives have got away with. I think there's huge problems there. So we're listening, you know, we're trying to improve, trying to build more community projects, trying to put out good products, and like everyone, we're trying to evolve. And I think one of the interesting things discussed was about information, how we receive it. I think personally, not speaking from the business here, I think that's the big challenge now of the next few years. And we're adapting very fast. If you look at the dates where we got the internet and WhatsApp, this is the iPhone, this is all in a blink of an eye. And we are learning how to separate the truth from fiction. And it's going to take some time.
Okay, thank you. Christopher, you've got 1 minute.
1 minute.
The mic is yours.
As I said, I believe in dialogue on all levels, regardless of whether you agree or not with what's being said. But I have learnt a lot today in terms of just generally good deeds that have been done across different continents, and I'm looking into even more.
Okay, Yvonne, you've got 1 minute.
Well, thank you for coming. I think I've made my points about many issues. I don't think I've got more to say, so thank you for inviting Sinna to the studio. Thank you for attending, and I'm pleased to be a part of the panel, and I hope people enjoyed what we had to say.
Okay. Sinna, thank you very much for attending.
Thank you so much.
Christopher, thank you very much for attending. Yvonne, thank you very much for attending. We're going to go into 59 right now. So let me just play a little bit of music to just play us out. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much for your director to be sending you out at this time of night in this area. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do is play music, and then that's it. We're out.
And just say it's a wrap.
Thank you so much. It was good fun. Yeah, hopefully we can come back maybe when we made a bit of progress.
Okay.